Welcome everyone to the 330th weekly MLP Drawing School live critique stream. It's June 28th? Wait, is that right? I feel like it was supposed to be
gosh,
July.
almost
Maddie.
We're almost at all threes. That's crazy.
That means we have entered summer, I guess.
It means
Not
we're
ready.
a third of the way there. And once we've done a third of the pictures on that stream, it will be a third of the way to having our 1,000th stream.
Oh god. Oh god. How do you think
Yeah.
we're gonna go? Like, do you think we're gonna have a massive fight and break up like a band and then go our separate ways? Like, how is this gonna end?
Each
We're
one,
gonna
no,
have a
just
behind the
schedule
music for the
conflicts.
stream.
Schedule
take over.
conflicts from
It
work.
just becomes
and
a
then...
Celestia appreciation server. That's it.
Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, we're probably just gonna. One person's gonna be like, "Yeah, I think I'm done," and then we're all gonna be like, "Oh, thank God, we're all done now."
We're all afraid who's gonna be first. We're all afraid to say it, but we all want to.
That's like every time we're in one of the calls in the channel, and like none of us are comfortable anymore, but we don't want to be the first to leave.
Oh,
I mean, we
perhaps
love you
this
all.
stream brought to you by social pressure.
Yeah, please start critiquing other people's art. It was great for 3 weeks. We loved it. We got a little bit of a break, and then you guys stopped. And girls, and everything between.
We praised them for it. Maybe that's the mistake. Maybe we shouldn't praise them for it. We should just be like, like good start, but still not good enough. You know, like really tsundere them, and just hope that that they continue to like. We just got to gaslight our viewers into critiquing more.
What if we force them to absolutely hate us, and out of spite they'll critique?
Yes.
All right, you want it. Let's see how fast.
Our job. We want to do it.
Let's see how long the subreddit lasts. We initiate a token system.
my
You earn a
God.
token to get critiqued for every time you critique somebody else. Let's see how long that takes to just collapse on itself.
There would be one person posting. Stratojaw would be able to post. Congrats.
You know what, Stratojaw? It's now your server. It's everything. You have it. You've earned the tokens. You can cash out.
We did have a token system for a while. Remember, it kept score for everyone who posted and be like, this person's done it, 10 million times. Congrats.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
that was not in my day.
It was tied back with the IRC. Those days.
Let's re-implement.
Definitely before my time then.
We had to stop it because, like, my post count was, like, 4 times the amount because I'd do, like, responses to every single one, and it'd be like, hey, ask these questions and that type of stuff, and it'd be like, this doesn't work anymore. Your count's too high. I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm just doing a mod thing. You can remove it, I guess.
Listen, you deserve it. You deserve the tokens.
Yeah.
You can cash out for your vacation.
Oh, sweet. I get vacation?
Well, not anymore.
Ali, why did you have to tell him this?
Sorry.
So that leads us into the next thing. Hey, you guys should critique all the art. And I'm not saying it out of spite or hate or, just because I don't want to. It's because it's dang useful. You know what? Let's swear here. It's fucking useful, man. It is so good. You critique someone and you're like, cool, I am answering questions. I am thinking about this in a different way, which allows me to re-examine the art that I am making myself. It is such a useful skill to learn. If you want to get good at art, learn to critique others, because it will teach you how to spot issues and how to address issues.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hear none of that. I'm not good enough to critique, because everyone has... Everyone has eyes. Everyone has a way to see things.
Ability to critique and drawing ability are different things, are different skills. It's very true. I'm so tickled by like 330 streams and finally Zama's just like scoodles. Everyone gets one. It's cool.
Alright, and the only person who's going to hear that is our first one, legitimately 65, assuming they actually watched the stream. That is the top left-hand corner, Twiggly.
Twiggles.
Wiggles.
I am doing my own personal take on the human main 6. Did Twilight first.
This is so cute. Very adorable.
So it's a cross post, and they have no questions. All right. So the auto mod responded to you. It asked you 2 questions. Well, actually, only 1 question. It asked you to ask questions about your art, and specifically in the what are you having problems with? What struggles are you being challenged with? Where do you want to take your art? It's asking things like that. We need some guidance on how to critique you, because we can just throw things at the wall and hope it sticks, but most of the times it doesn't land as effectively as answering your questions with your art. Because we don't know what's going on with your art, we don't know what's going on in your head at the moment where you are right now, and what issues you're having. We can only see an image of this, right? So we want questions.
Right.
We want questions on your art. There we go. So let's do this, Twiggly. She's adorable, as everyone said. If I was to give an off-the-cuff reference before even starting any redlining going on here, with your pencil lines, it looks as though you have a lot of uneven and... wait, come on, pen. There it goes. Your lines are doing a lot of this. That can be caused from a few different things. Assuming you don't have any things like neurological issues causing your muscles to do all sorts of weirdness, likely it's caused by your arm moving way too slow and trying to be too exact. Best ways around that, undersketch, and then go fast. So your undersketch is going to give you the guidance of where your lines are going to be, and that is grab a lighter pencil, even a second drawing, and you're going to go and you're just going to work out what this character is. You're going to work out the skeleton behind it. If you go check out our sideboard, you will find 2 sets of guides, beginner guides and exterior guides and tutorials. Both of them have references for how to do undersketch, how to measure and compare, things like that. Go read them, because they will be very, very useful for you to get a better understanding of what undersketching is and what it looks like and how it's beneficial. But the short and long of it is, do the undersketch first, and then draw on top of said undersketch. You generally have to draw harder on top of it so you can get rid of the other lines. Some people switch over to pen and that type of stuff and erase it. My suggestion, just use a different grade of pencil or draw slightly harder with your pencil. But what that's going to do is that will give you a guideline to work on. So you have, say, a line under here, you'll still have the squiggly or even, type of lines. Now we get to clean it up with our second layer. So we get to go over it and go, I'll go with the darker one. We get to go, okay, now I know this is where my line needs to be, so I can go quick. And that quick movement, that quick line, will give you a much crisper and cleaner line. And that will do wonders for improving your overall line quality. I guess second, while I'm on a roll here, references. References are great. References are a wonderful tool. Everyone should use references, and everyone who is successful at art uses references. This is a tool that has been handed down to us from every single right-clicking on an image to save said image. It is so useful. What you're gonna do?
Even that, I'm pretty sure like ancient, old like classic artists that we like study in school still, utilized references when drawing portraits of people. They didn't just like, okay, cool, I know what you look like, go away now, I'm gonna just do it from memory.
I'm pretty sure even the cavemen did. They went,
yeah,
look,
exactly.
I see, I don't know, walrus. I don't know.
Mammoth walking
Mammoth?
over there.
There
Where are my cave painting tools?
Exactly.
Give me cave painting tools.
References. In your case, because yours is a sort of like chibi anime style human, go look at your anime references. Go find something that you want yours to look like. It doesn't have to be a single image either, and it really shouldn't be a single image. You want to build up a library of images. Things that you like, things that you like the style, say you like the eyes from this certain artist, collect a bunch of pictures of those eyes in different formats, different angles, different things like that. You like the head shape on this artist, well, harvest their style. You like the body on this artist, you're going to copy a bunch of those pictures. And then you're going to use them to base your picture off. And that's not saying just place it on and draw over top. No, that's beside your picture on a different computer, different monitor, cell phone, whatever it is. You're going to look at them, you're going to measure and compare them. You'll also find guides on our exterior guides and beginner guides on measuring and comparing. Great skill to learn. It will help you immensely. You're going to measure and compare and check against their picture to have a very easy offhand reference for making your picture better. So you don't have to work in the dark, because working in the dark sucks.
It's always important to remember art isn't made in a void. You shouldn't be expected to just like pull something out of nothing. Art always comes from something, whether it's your inspiration, a reference, fan art, like, it all comes from somewhere. So don't feel like you have to shut yourself out from everything to make art that's valid.
Yes, very true.
I see someone doing a face up here. Who's this lovely face?
Oh, I was just showing an example of what the undersketch might look like. So going under with a lighter pen or pencil, mapping out the face, and then going back over it with a bolder line, either a pen or pressing harder down on the paper, really helps to get those lines smooth and for you to visualize what you're drawing before finalizing it with ink or a harder pencil.
Awesome. Love it.
Mm-hmm.
And the person at the bottom?
That's a CPC sketching.
Okay, they're just screaming into the void. Got it.
Apparently not ready to be presenting that particular critique yet, I see.
I guess I didn't introduce everyone. We do have Allie, Q Pencil Case,
Oh, hello.
Oh, yeah, we did.
Vex, and Zai.
Hi, this is a bit late.
Very
This is an unusual break from our usual circumstance.
Listen, it's one of those days.
It's fine.
All right, shall we move on to our next picture?
Heck yeah.
Keep it up. Don't stop. That's a great way to improve is by drawing more. Because if you don't draw more, you definitely won't improve. But I see a lot of potential in what you're doing here.
What you just said put an S Club 7 song in my head, and now I need to go find it.
Right, our next picture up is... I'll find it one day.
Cute.
There it is. It's by Cerulean Spring. I drew Princess Luna in Twiggly Sparkle.
Twiggly Sparkle.
Look at all this sparkly Luna, though. Look at all the stars and sparkles.
Yeah, this looks like it'd be a fun button or a sticker. Yeah.
And did they have any questions or
No? So
yeah, I mean, first off, it helps us tremendously to know like what it is that you want help with, and we can help you the best.
Yeah. So I am looking at the picture that you've uploaded to Reddit, and it seems like the pixelization on it is quite high. It must have been a very low resolution picture, but then your signature's higher resolution than the picture. So I'm wondering if you blew it up, did the signature, and then shrunk it down to export it?
possible?
Don't be afraid of a large canvas. Even if you're drawing a small picture or a picture that is supposed to be somewhat like printed very small, a larger canvas is never a bad thing. Yeah, it might take up some more space. It might push your computer a bit harder, but most computers made in the last 2 decades can still draw a picture 2,000 by 2,000 or 10,000 by 10,000, depending on your drawing program. It won't have too much of an issue. and drawing on a larger canvas with higher resolution will allow you to not run into as many pitfalls. It removes hurdles from your artistic process. Be like choosing to draw on a post-it note rather than an 8.5 by 11 paper. Yeah, post-it note could be useful, but tell you that 8.5 by 11 paper's got a lot more real estate for me to play around with. Really work in some of those details. And it's going to stop
Very, very true.
the pixelization we're seeing on some of the shadows and the stars. It's going to crisp it up. It was adorable, though.
Very cute.
I'd say
Is-
if I'm to be really, really nitpicky, there's a few things that's just kind of bring to my attention. Let me get a color that'll actually show up. So up here you have the hair kind of going off, and then the hair going like that. You could show some consistency there and just follow through. That's something like, especially when you're working in the sketch, there is going to be times when the line art is going to be cut off, but when you're sketching, you can go right through that horn to really make sure everything lines up. You don't have to worry about it, because once your line art comes in, you'll have a whole other layer where you can go right on top and my horn.
No, Robot Alley.
Robot Alley, no.
I go back.
Alley-bot.
I'll wait till I come back, I guess.
I
Oh,
think you're good.
Hello?
wait. You seem to have re-engaged your human
I'm back.
servers.
When did I start roboting? So I don't.
The start of your sentence.
Yeah.
Damn. So basically, if I can quick go before I robot again, my nitpick is something along the lines of your hair here, where it kind of the first bit here goes to the horn and just goes off into nowhere land, and then this other bit is down here and starts like this from the horn. Something you can
Nice
do is
catch. I
when
didn't even see
we're
that.
sketching, when we're sketching, you don't need to worry about things overlapping. Like we can, as we're sketching, okay, I have the horn sketched out here. Now it's time to draw the hair. Oh no, I can go through that horn. It's okay to do that because we're gonna have a whole
Yeah.
fresh new layer when we do line art. And I know sometimes
Exactly.
it's hard for people. I know there's a lot of people in this server I've met that just don't like sketching because they can't figure out all the lines once they sketch too much.
Yeah.
So don't be afraid to clean things up where maybe once you make that line going through the horn, go back and erase
You can
that bit
just
away.
exactly.
And now when you go into your line art, you'll be able to have a nice clean connection where this strand goes here and oh look, I know exactly where it comes out on the other side. So it fits and it flows together.
Totally. Draw what you can't see. It's a good rule typically. And yeah, what I do with digital sketching, obviously it's a bit harder to do this with traditional, not impossible, just not really necessary. But I do my sketching in different colors. So like the body, I sketch in blue, the mane and hair and whatever, I sketch in red, and I have different colors for every like type of thing. Like clothes and stuff will be in purple, just so that they're separate, and there's no reason for the colors. It's just so that you can see which, like, oh, this red line going through the two blue lines of the horn. Your brain can just easily see, oh, I can just separate where the mane is and see which part needs to be rubbed out. Yeah, the only like small thing I had, it's probably just a style thing. So if it's like a personal choice, you can ignore me. But the horn seems to bend like inwards instead of outwards. It can either be a straight line or have a convex outwards. But having it bent inwards in the concave seems um, a bit different. It's not necessarily wrong if what you're trying to do is specifically create your own stylized form of horns where they're kind of this. I don't know what that shape would be called. We have this like sort of conical, like caved in sort of shape. But yeah, that's if it's deliberate, it's deliberate. That's fine. If it wasn't deliberate, just thought I pointed it out.
And same to go with the horn. I'm just looking. It's just slightly off, I think. You can keep your sketch there. It's just like I'm trying to draw the center line for the head.
Uh-huh.
And it just feels slightly off center. And horns are usually one of those things that are dead center. That's like one of the weird things with ponies is like you can almost guarantee that the horn will be be right between the dead of the eyes.
Yes.
So and that's why we do these things when we undersketch. Like if I were to draw a circle, oh, I need to place everything out. I draw guidelines, which you most see in this kind of like T shape. And even for pony proportions, like I know the muzzles are smaller and you won't exactly have your muzzle start in the center here. You can add more guidelines. So maybe I want the muzzle down here and we'll bring it down here. We'll give the eyes here and here. Oh, that's way far over. I can adjust because I have this nose point to connect the two. Ooh. See, no one's perfect. It's gonna be rough, and that's okay. And then you have, oh, the horn's gonna be about here because it's dead center. And then we go, woo, woo, look at that, look at that. Guidelines. They're beautiful. They're wonderful. And also, because we're on digital, and I was not utilizing this, you can flip the screen so that
Yeah.
things feel better and turn out better. Don't be
I was
afraid to
doing
use your digital tools.
I was
Yay.
doing some flipping earlier. It helps tremendously.
Otherwise, keep up the amazing work, and I can't wait to see all the other cute things you're gonna make because this is such a cute style. I love, love, love the eyes. All these little details in the eyes, so good.
All right, then. Do we want to move on to our next picture?
Yeah.
All right, let's do the one directly beneath this one. Just because he is colorful. So we got a Rainbow Dash by, there it is, Swap Swag. Rainbow Dash. Art by me.
I love the colors. It's a very nice palette for Rainbow Dash. It's nice and soft and like pastel-y.
Light shading on. Cutie mark's different. I wonder what the choices on the changes of the cutie mark were.
Yeah, it seems like an alternate universe kind of like style going on.
Mm-hmm. Got really funky ears. So if the head's doing
Mm.
this sort of deal, right? That ear is attached basically on the back of the head.
Yeah, I might adjust that a little bit. You can definitely keep the style still, but just the ear hole, I'd move over and just kind of push in because right now it's like a big, big, big ear.
I think I'd
But
pull it in.
again, your style.
I would also make sure to add the second one, just so they can hear in stereo.
This also seems like something like we were talking about in the last one that would have benefited from an undersketch, because from how I'm
Yes.
seeing it, it looks like you just went into it making fluff immediately with nothing underneath to let you know where to put that fluff. So something to keep in mind as well is to, make sure you have that structure there before you add all of the details into it. And that'll fix a lot of the like weird leg thing going on back here.
So Vex,
Mm-hmm.
how do you know where to put fluff?
Uh it's kind of stylistic, but generally where you put it is where you would find the longest hair on the creature. Depending on what it is, that can be in different places. If you want to make it super fluffy, I have no problem with that. But uh, generally, it's around places where there will be the most fur. So, like on cats, it's around the chest. I've seen a lot of people put that on their horses too. Maybe the top of the butt or around the legs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, curves are a nice place to look out for areas to put fluff on. Not every area, but yeah, like Bex was saying, around the butt, you can have some fluff coming off. Anything that has like a harsh curve. If you have anything, any kind of fabric that is kind of faux fur fabric, and you take it and you lay it flat, and you see it's all kind of symmetrical. You don't see any spots sticking out. But then you take that same fabric and you fold it in half. You can see how the hairs react differently. How as it's rounding that corner, some stick out a bit. It can be something if available to you, or even a stuffed animal, anything that has like a longish hair to it. you'll be able to see the same thing where things fleck up, like the tufts kind of go outward when there's a curve hitting them.
Good answers. I'm going to add on to this tail. So tails. Tails follow the spine. We go, whoa, spine is on. Oh, let me darken that up a bit.
That was a funny noise.
Yeah, I like the noise.
Tail comes out here and follows along the back. So the spine is attached to the back of the head. That's what roots that skull together. There's a whole bunch of muscle and stuff that's across the front of that, across the side of it. You got, the esophagus and the booper snooper somewhere up there. Spine comes across the back, the top of the back, and then ends out here. And there's a little dock, just a little tail bone bit that sticks there, and that's what gives them the ability to like flick around a tail. And with that, we have the little root, or often called the dock of the tail. It comes out as a small portion, and the hair just sort of explodes off of it. Even in the show, they tend to do this in the later seasons. In the earlier seasons, they did essentially what you have, where it's a solid block coming off. I would lean towards the later seasons and the movies just because it looks funkier, it looks saner, and you can control that tail a bit more in your drawings. So we pop it off, and then, you get all your hair swirly bits coming about, and Dash just sort of explodes in hair. That's untangled mess of wonderful rainbow. Hope that helps.
You know what they say? Rainbow Dash always dresses in style.
Yeah. Always needs a tutu. Rainbow tutu. All right.
Reference, Sally.
Anyone else have any other points of critique on this one?
Nope.
All right, let's roll to our next one. We're going to do the one right next to it. The big traditional one. This is by... So many pictures to click through. Oh my gosh, where did I put it? Scrolling. It is by Love Stratus. Love Stigardias? I don't know. Doodles page 1, part 1. Yes, part 1, not page 1. And they got no questions for us. We do have two
That's
pictures.
my first critique. Give us some questions. I don't know if you've ever been to a critique subreddit before, but this subreddit is mostly for critique. If you do post here, please do give us questions so that we can help us help you, basically. So we know what you struggled with, what you want to improve at, what you liked, what you disliked. We want to not steer you into the wrong direction where we're like, oh, well, you need to now go learn human anatomy, even though you're drawing horses because XYZ reason. You might not be interested at all, and that's fine. But we want to know so we don't, send you off to boring land.
We much prefer when our critique
boarding
lands.
School.
Boarding school.
But I wanted to be homeschool.
You either get to come to our Discord, to the My Little Pony Drawing School, or we send you off to boarding school. There's the choices.
Yeah, no in between.
Nope.
This is a really good color palette. I will say that. Like the
1000%.
blues, like the greens, and the orange. Wonderful.
Very good shapes.
And doubly love that you're consistent with the way you're coloring things in. Like, nothing's like scribbled. It's all the same flow, which is really beneficial to coloring in things, especially things that can leave streaky mark. It makes it less appearance-wise.
And they use the entire canvas. Look at that. We got some 60 or 80 weight paper, and they just use it all.
The only couple things I'm noticing is that his front legs disappeared. There's no hoof there, so maybe try to put that in somewhere if you can.
I'm wondering if this looks like it was part of that one, but then the back leg has vanished on it. Because
one leg disappeared.
That's a hard tangent there.
Yeah. Speaking of tangents, also the wing up here kind of curves along with the body, so it's a little bit confusing to look at. I just bump that wing out even just a little bit. That'll visually help distinguish it from just the neck going down into the body. It's a really good idea to keep in mind the silhouette of your horse, which you have done pretty well everywhere else, so I'm sure it's just something to keep in mind for this as well, is to watch where other lines are going when you're making your lines.
100%. Oh yeah, I see someone adding in whites to the eyes. I don't know if you've ever looked into this, but when you do traditional marker or pencil or whatever drawings, it's really, really good to find like a white gel pen or like a white Posca pen. Anything that can kind of be opaque and go over anything, because adding little white bits to your art over top of what you drawn can really be that thing that makes it like chef kiss pop in a way that you wouldn't really imagine. So I do recommend that just so you can add in those little details.
I don't have much more to say about this one. It's lovely.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, can I just say I love your just use of shapes, like everything about like the way the body is shaped, like the hooves, the legs, the chest, the wings, the nose and cheeks and ears and the hair, like everything has like such a unique and lovely like way of using like line shape. Is just it's so good. It's very fun to look at. I can imagine this working pretty well for digital art as well.
if I was to push you in a direction now, because your picture is very, very well done, your character is great, your lines wonderful. Uh, where are they? What's the rest of the image going on? Sitting in a white void is an easy thing to do, but putting them somewhere is really pushing the picture to the next level, telling the rest of the story of what's going on.
Are they annoyed at someone? Are they just being like tsundere? Are they like are they sulking? Are they just looking confused? What is happening to give them this expression that this lovely expression you've got? It definitely feels like there is something going on here. We just want to know what.
Mm-hmm. All right, shall we move on to our next picture?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Goodness.
We got. That's where it went. Sorry, clicking through. I got a lot of pictures to click through to figure out which one this one is. There it is.
There.
All the tab, so many tabs.
It is by Splair, and it's made myself a pony Sana, and would like some feedback on the design. Her name is Volcano Crunch.
I love them. I love them.
So
This
cute.
is so cool. I love your style. I love the design. I love the swooshiness, like the way the mane has this kind of like vortex look where it's going down on one side and up on the other. So good.
And I love the little leggies, like they're just little stumpy leggy friends.
This
So
this
good.
little indignant look they're giving.
So cute.
But I mean,
your
there's a heart on their
style is
chest.
that as well is so
Uh,
good. Your like
okay.
your style is absolutely gorgeous. You should be doing cartoon work like officially if you're not already.
No questions from them.
No.
They're so stubby. Vex, it's your turn to tell them about how they should be asking questions.
All right. Well, as we have stated several times before, please ask questions. We don't know how to help you if we don't know what you are struggling with. So
You said
it's
you want to help
incredibly
on the
useful for
design,
people.
but
Yeah,
specifically,
specific questions about the design that you didn't like or areas where you were struggling can be very, very useful for us to help you with that.
yeah, that's super cool though.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what to critique.
If I
So,
have to be
actually,
nitpicky,
I do.
the wings are off for me. I'm not sure. Like maybe they're broken. I'm not sure if they're supposed to be like broken wings, tattered wings, if they have, because they don't quite have any sort of recognizable wing shape. The only thing that's telling me they're wings is because of the 2 sets of feathers. But even the outer feathers feel more like they match your hairstyle than feather style. It's just really hard for me to read. And again, this is me being really, really nitpicky. So please take it with a grain of salt. I just feel like maybe it's where they're attached that's making it feel off to me. Like they're way more above the shoulder, like at the neck. They're the top of the neck is where their top attachment point is. When I think wings, it's more down by the shoulders they'd come out. I'm not sure what it is, and if you were here, I'd love to like actually talk with you about it so we can be on the same page. But that's something that sits off with me, and I think if you adjusted it to be either in a more correct placement or get the shapes a little clearer, because even here we have no feathers down here, and if we look at like an actual wing, it would there'd be the red would still attach to the body. It would come down to the body and attach instead of just being wing and then only having the second part of the wing here, but nothing here.
Mhm.
We're missing this part.
What I was looking at was the main. So I'll turn this off a sec. What we can see in the original version is the like flow around here. It doesn't really sit very well. So we have the hair sort of spiking out, and it just kind of goes into this shape, where it's like, how does that look in 3D space? You know. So what I was doing was just trying to create some overlap. So I had it sort of coming out and then going in. I don't have a good secondary color. Going in around here. This is not even the right layer. Um, so that we can see, where am I? There we go. Um, where it comes down with this little sort of hanging fringe bit. This is all one shape, and I've got some sort of like overlap, just some like little extra bits, just sort of leading in to the rest of the design and helping it to tuck behind the head a little bit. But we get this flow now of where this hair goes like this, and we can see where it's going to be coming out and how it's going to be sprouting. Then that helps us to design like how it's falling. So just having these 2 layers, I think, really helps to sell this character's style of like how the mane is forming, and helps to sort of figure it out. And because this is all one big body of color, you don't even have to have the lines connected exactly. You can just use these sort of like these loose fitting lines, exactly as I've done them right there. And this looks like really messy and cool, which I think goes, it fits pretty well with this character's aesthetic. Like not like disheveled, but there's a lot of mane, and it's very wild and cool. And having a few disconnected lines like this could help to sell that, particularly where the only point of the lines is not to like close an area that needs to be closed. It's just to sell that there's an overlap, which you're doing anyway in the picture. Then I think that can be very, very useful in those particular areas. But yeah, separating this little sort of hanging bit, I think, in some way helps to make that feel a bit more natural, and then having this part come out from the back as if that is going behind the head. That helps to make it feel more like there's this connection going on here as well. But yeah.
So I've just adjusted the legs a bit. I think the pose you're going for is one like the hip pushed over, so they're leaning towards the viewer. So like their hips further back, and then so the closest leg is turned over on its side, which makes sense. But then the other leg just vanished. How I would do that to make sure the pose doesn't fall apart is I would take the furthest leg and splay it out. So we take the hip and we expose the inside of the hip, and that will allow us to have the other leg just kicked out behind it without looking like you've broken their hip to get around that. It still gives us both legs, nice balanced pose, so they aren't falling over. It's good. All right. Anyone else have any other comments? Any other questions on this one?
Yep.
All right. Let's move on to our next one. We're going to do the derpy.
Super cute.
Doiby.
This one is by Foxternal. Hi, this is my first time drawing any MLP character. I hope people like it. Damn!
Cute. So happy. So happy.
You did an amazing job. Look at that silly pony.
Yeah, I'd like to know if you made the background as well, because that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, muffins.
So, a question I have, which is sort of reiterating something that LD said in a different critique earlier, is I'm not sure what sort of lining style you're using or what tool you're using, whether you're drawing with a mouse or a tablet, but your lines seem very uneven, which, yeah, we've got someone looking at over here, which really, we want to have these nice smooth lines. What we've got is this, like, jaggedy look, which makes it look like she's been turned into a stone, which we don't want to happen again. So having these lines be nice and smooth in a big smooth stroke like this is helpful. And what I'm doing right now is I'm drawing. I have something called a stabilizer on, which is helping to basically create like a medium point between the lines. So like, as you know, we can't draw on screen the same way we would on paper and pencil, because the to sort of draw a big thing, if our hand is doing this, if you like zoom in really far, it's doing this. The tablet is taking these points and saying like, okay, so if you've got all these like points here where the line is going between, so I'm gonna just like make a medium between them, and so then that's what we get, and then you can see how that looks like a much smoother line than what I drew originally, which is just happening on like a microscopic level. But it helps a lot to have a stabilizer. If you're not drawing with a tablet and you're using a mouse, well, it can help a lot as well with a mouse regardless. But something that might be easier with a mouse is thinking about vector drawing, which is essentially when you say, like, okay, so here's one point. Oops, it's not letting me draw now. Here's one point, and then here's this point here, and I'm going to drag it like this. So then you're basically stretching this line outwards like this. So that way you can make curves just using the mouse, and you just do that, and you just make the curves along the body. So I don't know what drawing thing you're using, or if you have some kind of condition with your hands that makes it hard to draw smooth lines. But like regardless, a stabilizer helps, and vector might be something that's fun to experiment with, whether or not it's something that you have trouble with or not. It's a good suggestion either way. I used to draw with vector; it's pretty fun sometimes, so it's good to try out. But stabilization helps. It makes everything feel smooth and connected. We don't want it to look all nubbly.
Nubbly.
Because these ponies are marshmallow. They should be all soft and squish. We want that line swoosh.
While Fluffy was drawing, I just did a little thing over to the left here. You'll notice that in red, I sketched very loosely and messily to kind of find my shapes. Something that I think can really help with this line confidence is already having a drawing that basically when you're lining, you're just tracing over your drawing. Because the line art, the whole point of it is to focus on its cleanness. But when you're sketching, it's figuring out what the drawing is and kind of forming it. So don't be afraid to do something called an undersketch. We've talked about it in the previous
Yes.
images. I highly recommend going back and watching if you want a little more detail. I'm just going to do a quickie right now because we still have quite a few more drawings to go. But letting yourself sketch things out and break things down into simple shapes is really helpful to the process, and you can help guide yourself. You can put the tools in place so that you can have those confident strokes. So you basically know where you have to go instead of just having these small guessing lines to be like, okay, well, it kind of curves this way, so I guess I got to work my way that way till it goes down, okay, and that way, and it's less guesswork. It basically gives you something to refer to and refer off of.
Alright, shall we move on to our next lovely horse?
Sure.
Alright.
Very silly pony.
Yeah. Our
Which
next
way are we
one,
going?
we're gonna head off to the right.
Uh-huh. Whoa.
Let me see. This is by Comic Raptor 310, and they named it Comic Raptor 310.
Hell yeah. Did
Hey,
they
Pix.
include
Pixie.
any description?
Hello.
Hello.
No.
Good morning.
Then it's Pixie's turn to tell us tell them
Pixie.
that we need critique. We need questions.
Yeah. So this is a very interesting looking pony. It's a bit difficult to tell what like parts of this style are kind of intentional, or things that you kind of want to do, which parts kind of we can help sort of explain better ways to do and all that sort of stuff. So it can be useful to give us questions, or to tell us what you like and what you didn't like about your picture, just so that we have a bit more of an idea about.
Is very stylistic, so like it's hard to know like what is just honestly trying to interpret something, anatomy and such, and what is like a crazy style. I'm going to draw, assuming that all of this was completely intentional, and assume that you still want to have good anatomy with this like crazy giant legged perspective. I'm going to assume that you meant to do this. But it helps a lot to know what your intention is, What is this back thing? Is this part of the scarf? I think it's part of the scarf.
I think it is.
It's like it's got like a double wrap. Like it's. And this is like blowing behind them. That's weird. You have the scarf on very tightly as well. I do the scarfing. That might be hard to see. Oh no, it's fine. Okay.
So, if you go look at our sideboard, you'll find a set of links called Beginner Guides, and the other set of links is called Exterior Guides and Tutorials. I highly suggest you go check them out. There's a set of tutorials in there called Using References and Measuring and Comparing. What these will help you with is they'll help you build a tool set for collecting and gathering your references that you can use to better build your horse. What that looks like is essentially you go to the whatever medium you prefer, whatever artist you prefer, be it the actual show or other artists or other media completely, like, I don't know, Little Pet Shop of Horrors or whatever. No, that's two different shows mashed together, but it sounds great.
It does.
I'd watch it.
But just whatever media you're trying to get from, wherever you're pulling your inspiration from, you want it on hand. You want it to be able to look at so you can compare it to what you're drawing. So you can draw inspiration from it and make sure you have something to look back to. Art is not created in a void. There is no need to create it in a void. If anyone ever tells you using references is cheating, yet tell them they can do math without ever learning math. Good luck. It's not possible. Yeah. Art is created by an accumulation of knowledge.
Every true mathematician uses a slide rule, calculators, devil tools.
No, slide rules were created by everyone else. You got to make up your own number system behind it.
You can't even count your own fingers. It's not allowed.
Well, fair enough.
So use your references. It is a wonderful tool on hand. And it might take a bit more time to gather up a few of them, but honestly, there is this show with a whole bunch of seasons that you can just like throw up on Netflix or find a Yar Harbe or look on YouTube and you'll find clips from it. And you can just be like, and I got a picture of Pinkie Pie. Doesn't have to be in the same pose of your character, because they are still built with the same framework as your character. It doesn't even have to be the same character that you're looking for. You could do a Rainbow Dash when you're drawing a Pinkie Pie. You can do a Celestia if you're drawing a Luna. It doesn't matter. You're looking for similarities or elements you want to draw from the source.
I love the drawing happening on the left, by the way. That's a really good interpretation.
Yeah, just doing my best to kind of keep everything.
That's a very cute sort of realization of the style, I think. I like that. But it's all about like finding different ways to look at things like that. So have a look at what else exists.
Mm-hmm. It's always useful to have a bit of a squiz and see what other artists are kind of doing in the same style that you wanna use, especially for the more like exaggerated proportions like this. Like we have an artist who helps out with the critique stream sometimes called Len, and his style is just like tall, like super duper tall, and it's just like what, crazy. Yeah, definitely have a bit of a look around. Take inspiration from wherever. As you draw more and as you kind of use reference more and get more familiar with how things should look, that will make the kind of art that you do that is more exaggerated look more intentional, kind of sort of thing. So it's useful to experiment, with things in, this kind of, with these kind of proportions, with more normal proportions, it all helps. But look cute. I like it.
Well, shall we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
I think so.
Heck yeah.
All right. We got this one. It is by Melody Breeze 1, and it's Redrew a Pony I drew a few years back. I drew this in an old book I had. I had never finished the sketchbook, so I'd been working on filling up old sketchbooks. Anyway, enjoy Watermelon Waves.
It's so cute. Absolutely adorable. I love your drawing. She's precious. I really like the shape of the legs is so dainty, and then having the the fade on there is really, really nice as well. So yeah, great job.
It can be useful to include the other ear, whether it's especially because it comes like a little bit above the hairline, whether it's like just more standard kind of positioning over here, or whether it's like if they see it popping up and they see it like coming down here, or it can be really useful both for like expressing emotion, and also just for fulfilling the expectation in kind of the user's eye, or sorry, the viewer's eye. Also, really good job on making each of these legs in different positions. A lot of artists don't do that kind of thing.
So there was just like something a bit sort of unbalanced about the face. One problem with drawing with traditional, and I searched for like an entire day trying to find an app that would let me do this, but there was nothing that let this. All I wanted is a camera app that lets you just point your camera at something but flip it mirrored, so that you could see it in reverse. Because holding up an actual mirror to your drawing is inconvenient and difficult. But being able to see your drawing flipped is hugely helpful with digital art, to be able to see what things that are unbalanced that our brain just doesn't see, because our brains have all this like autocorrect happening where we see things and your brain processes them in information and makes sense of them. And so sometimes that works against us in art, where our brain translates things to make sense that don't actually make sense. And then when we flip it, suddenly we're forced to see it with new eyes, and it's like, oh, I can immediately see that like the entire face is off. So I'm doing some flipping as I'm drawing, but doing redrawing it just to help everything feel a little bit more balanced. Keep the mouth here. Um, just helps to make it feel more like anatomically consistent. And it just helps to sell the style and appearance that you have for your character, and helps you to make them replicatable and just to feel like they're getting their maximum cute potential across. Really important aspect of art. So yeah, that's all my critique there. Is just to obviously you can't, as I said, you can't do that with traditional art very easily. You have to like take a picture and then like flip it mirrored, which then you're not like seeing it the same way because it's a camera lens and not your actual eyes. So it's annoying, but if you can find a way of like just looking at it flipped, so you can see like which parts are getting sort of twisted or slanted, it can help a lot.
Some old drawing books that I have recommend just having like a physical mirror like set up,
Yeah,
either somewhere on or somewhere near your drawing desk, so you can just flip your picture around, and
yeah. As I
that's
said,
interesting.
it's just a bit like inconvenient to do that, and all I want is just to have a camera app on my phone that'll do it. But there's nothing, absolutely nothing. Like I could make this, but I don't know how to do programming.
I guess the annoying thing you could do is like take a picture and then flip it on
Yeah,
like the editing software.
yeah, that's what I was saying. But then it's like not only is that hugely inconvenient, but it's like it's also true that you're like seeing a photo at an angle that isn't what your eyes are seeing. But it still helps if it's still like an option that can help with traditional art. But it's just one of those things that digital art lets you have as such like a nifty tool that traditional doesn't. But traditional is fun, so I get wanting to do it.
So what I want to have a talk about is kind of this area here, mostly because of the way that this piece of hair looks, with this, and this being so close to here, it makes it look like all of this is kind of one piece of hair, and so it's a little bit difficult to break out. So you'll see this term called I don't what's the term when there's two lines that kind of are too
Tangent.
similar? Tangent, yeah. It's kind of a tangent. So you saw earlier, and you see Fluffy now, how he's like breaking out this hair so that it's like larger and so that it's separated from the tail. Doing that kind of thing, or making it so that the tail is kind of more easily readable as kind of overlapping, or so that this front piece of hair is overlapping the tail, or that kind of thing can be really useful for just helping it be readable.
Yeah.
But it's a yeah, don't stress too much. It's the kind of thing that you'll notice more and more as you draw, so don't stress.
All right. Anyone else have any other? Oh, I see someone drawing up some of the legs.
I'm just chilling. I always like, whenever I'm drawing this kind of area, I like having like the belly line, and then having this thigh line instead be like a bit of like a cut in like that.
I was flipped for so long I forgot that I was flipped.
Right then, let's move on to our next picture.
Hope this
Yeah, good
helps, and we
drawing.
hope to see more cute stuff from you in the future.
Heck yeah.
All right, we got a Discord. This is by. Find it in a moment. I swear I'll find it. There it is. It is by Alma. Drew Discord in my style. That's all they have.
This is a really spooky picture.
Really nice
It's very,
painting.
very cool, though. Yeah, it's super cool. The way you've drawn it is really nice.
I saw this picture and I was just like, oh, this is amazing. I love it.
Yeah. Incredible. I'm not sure what to critique on it, though. It's... Personally, I think everything's really, really cool. Even got, like, little sort of, like, green tints for the eye shine instead of white. Like, that's a good little detail.
And
Like,
this,
fade...
how this tints towards green
Yeah.
and that kind of
How
stuff.
this tints towards pink. It's like... there's so much, like, attention to detail that you just notice as you look at it. It's really good. Like a little thing a little cute thing appearing.
Really like how you made the horn and ear poke out over here. I almost want to see that maybe with a claw or something coming down here. Like balance it out. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Or I'd even say, like, allocate this wall and have stuff poke outside of those, and you have, like, them tied together. The fact that they're poking out and these are cut off, kind of like it's like a pocket he's poking out of.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah, especially because these already poke out above. Yeah, that makes sense. I'm wondering what this blue is. Is that like a... Which bit of
His
the
wing.
character is that? Wing. Oh, okay. Interesting. Oh, it's Fluttershy. I like it. I think here there's an opportunity to do something a little bit like this. Have a little bit more of like a smooth transition between these two areas. Because from here to here is like a smooth transition. That's an area where I'd expect a little bit smoother of like a something going along there. A little bit smoother of a transition between the lit and shaded areas. But that's a tiny little thing. You saw someone bulk out the nose a little bit there.
Yeah, he has a pretty sharp nose, doesn't he? Normally.
The
Yeah,
nose
I
angle's
can...
just bugging me a bit because you have the face coming down the center like this, but the nose is facing that way.
Yeah, I can see it when you flip it. It's like kind of like...
Yeah,
almost
So the face is more
just a little bit
more
off.
towards us. The nose is going more that way. So
Yeah. I want to, when I'm drawing like the center line, I want to draw the center line something like this. But it's something like that. Yeah. So it's a little bit... But yeah. It's always hard to do that, like...
Yeah, it's hard to get it
center
right.
liney kind of stuff. Yeah. Lovely little CPC drawing down here.
Do notice the
It'll
mouth is at a different angle than the rest of the nose because of that. Like, I think it's just the jaw has been shifted over left, like that way.
Yeah.
To take the jaw and bring the teeth out over here more. Yeah, we'd probably fix that up a bit.
Yeah, all good. I'd be interested to something that you might want to, that might be something to like focus on a little bit is, what's it called when there's like little bits of fluff and stuff like that? Yeah, little bits of fluff and stuff. Trying to like work out how that looks when, for example, you have like areas like this and like all that sort of stuff. Just because like on the edges here, I would expect to see like a little bit. You've got like a little bit of it here, but I'd expect to see like a little bit more of it, like showing the way which the curves are going and that sort of stuff. So it might be something interesting to like look at or to like mess around with in future. But these are just like things to experiment with later on because this looks really good. It's hard to kind of say things to look at with this without a little bit more direction from your side. So if you want to like chuck more stuff at us, absolutely feel free. But it can be useful to for us to know what you liked about the picture, what you sort of struggled with in the picture. If you want to be pushed in sort of new directions and kind of the stuff that interests you and that sort of thing, because
Yeah. Where would you like to take your picture? Or where would you like to take your art? We might be able to help.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to our next picture then.
Ooh.
Hell yeah, good job.
We got a Pinkie Pie by this picture is by Henford and it's titled Pinkie. I haven't posted in almost a yearish, mainly just because posting is pretty spooky. I'm a pretty private feller, but I drew this today and I'm pretty happy with it. Although the leg placement were complete guesses and went through many iterations, but eventually I settled on this version.
Hell yeah, good job on you for posting.
Yeah, welcome back.
Yeah.
Sorry we're spooky. I know I'm undead, and I know there's like lions and bears and tigers, oh my. But we swear we don't bite too much.
I'm just messing with the sort of blowback of the smoke and whatnot from this. You really want to get that sort of plume in and show how it's sort of zooming out with Pinkie and sort of following her a little bit.
I get the feeling like
messy.
every time Pinkie fires her cannon, like glitter and confetti should also be coming out with it at the same time.
Oh yeah. On Clip Studio, I have an actual brush that I made for confetti, but I will have to just do it by hand here.
I love it. So something that's really interesting with action poses like this is a concept called line of action. And what this is a line of action is kind of a line that goes through your drawing that kind of defines where a lot of the action goes. So, for example, if I was doing this drawing up here, how I would start this off in the sketch phase would be to, for example, define like the main line of action going something like this. And then what we can do is we can base a lot of the other, parts of Pinkie and parts of the drawing off of this. So, for example, you might have the head somewhere like along here, have the body like kind of trying to like, maybe hooves reaching out here, like try to put a lot of the stuff along that same kind of like line to reinforce the action of the whole piece. So for here, if I was going to draw a line of action, it'd probably be something along the lines of like this, which doesn't make as much sense for like a cannony kind of blast. So it could be like more interesting to have like the something like that. Have like these hooves like one of them like tucked in a whole lot, and the other one like ja. But yeah, that's just a very initial kind of a thing.
Yeah,
Action
I
poses
totally
are really
agree.
difficult. So yeah, action poses are like it's difficult to like convey that action. So.
It can, yeah, it's really really difficult to show like motion and implied motion both like before and after the image. But it's action lines can really really help you to create the like basis of how you're gonna like show everything, how you're gonna build it.
But really good on you for tackling something like this. This kind
It's
of
fun.
pose is really interesting, and it's something
Yeah,
that like a lot of artists just wouldn't do. Like a lot of artists, especially when they're coming back to like drawing, they would just be like, "Hey, here is Pinky standing in a void." Rah, 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 rah,
yeah,
rah. But you were
me
like,
being called out.
"Nah." But you were like, "Nah, let's have her being fired out of a cannon. Let's go."
Yeah. The one thing I'm seeing is like I was originally seeing this as like a side on or like mostly side on picture. I can see you got like the opening of the cannon, but like looking at Pinky, we really see this the disappearing point with Pinky, which by the way, well, I don't really know how to explain disappearing point, other than exactly how it sounds. Um, if we follow like the lines of where Pinky is, it feels like it's coming sort of in this it's coming from this point down here, like in the middle of nowhere, and obviously that's not where the cannon is. Like if I was just looking at Pinky, I would draw the cannon uh like this. I mean you'd have like more forced perspective, which would make it difficult to make the cannon look its sort of normal rounded shape, but creating that like cylinder and then building the cannon around that I think works. But that's where I see it. If we look at where this is here in space. It's not very good, but that'd be her cannon. Um, just based off of how you've got Pinky in the original drawing. Whereas if we look at like, oh crap, I've ruined everything. If you look at like where, oh my god, I drew those everywhere and I didn't do it on a different layer and it won't let me undo. Uh, if we look at like how it is actually in the picture, while I just talk and try to erase all those lines, um, it just looks like it looks more side on. So what I was doing with the legs in white there was just the start of making it look more like side on. But you would need I think you need to redraw a lot of the picture for it to a lot of Pinky to like the face would kind of need to be more not completely side view, but more third quarter. Like the eye would need to be like here. Um, if it was gonna match the way the cannon was looking, you still have like the other eye visible. It's hard to tell with all the mess going on top of an existing drawing. Um, but yeah, trying to get the perspective right of like what's side view and what's third quarter and how much is difficult. And having an action line helps a lot with that. Trying to sort of outline where the disappearing point is helps a lot as well. You don't have to draw like a full grid, but it can help sometimes depending on what works for you. I really like this happening up here. Really good. But yeah, it's so much fun exploring ideas. What I like about this one that's being drawn up in the top here is the swoosh. Like you can feel how there's like the mane is being pushed back, the legs are positioned away where like she's pushing through the air. Like, you've done that as well with the mane being like swept back a little bit. Um, really exaggerating that can help a lot to like sell what you're trying to do. So like that's why it's good to just do like lots of different like drawings and little thumbnails, just to sort of explore. Okay, I want her shooting out of a cannon. Like, what does that look like? Is there any references in the show where she's like shooting forward really fast that I could use which I think there are, that I can use as reference to show. I think there's one from the movie where she's like shooting out the cannon where you can uh oh yeah, there's also like the scene where they're like in they're like making a chain. There's like a lot of like good force perspective going on there. There's references you can use, and then you can just do like sketching just to outline like where you think everything is, and try and break down what you want out of the idea and experiment before you get into like the commitment of the full drawing, you know. So experimenting's fun. Do that.
Yeah. Good drawing. Good picture.
Good. I love this one down here as well. Very cute.
Oh, heck yeah.
Lots of cute drawings. Because you drew a cute drawing. That's inspired us. So I hope to see more.
Right, I
Yeah,
believe. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I definitely think that mine is like Pinky is trying to like, you know, fire herself over a canyon, and this one is like, yeah, happy new friend, fire in the air, and doesn't move quite as far, but has more fun.
Yes, yeah. I just saw the doodles down in the bottom right have expanded.
I like it.
More silly. I like, no, I'm an imposter.
But yeah, good drawing. Chuck more stuff at us. We're not scary. If you want to, you can join our Discord and also just chuck us stuff in there. If you don't want to kind of chuck it onto Reddit subreddit.
All right. Well, seeing as that's all the pictures we have and all the canvas we have left, we're gonna call it a day. So thank you all for coming. We'll see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.